Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Committee on Veterans and Legal Affairs. We are assembled electronically this morning to work on several bills before us, as well as I think have a public hearing on the schedule. But before we get into that, we'll begin with committee introductions, starting with the House Chairman Chiazzo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry, I had to mute the live stream. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Chris Chiazzo, House District 28. Beautiful, humid, overcast, fun, loving West Scarborough, Maine. Thank you.
Representative Wood.
I'm used to being a W and going last. I am Barb Wood, and I represent House District 38, which is the western end of the peninsula in Portland.
Okay, Representative McCrate, right as you take a drink.
Yeah, good time. I'm Jay McCrate, representing Harpswell, West Bath, and Northeast Brunswick in the House. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Representative Supika.
Good morning, I'm Laura Supika and I represent House District 126, which is by some standards the best portion of Bangor.
Representative Riley.
Hi, I'm Representative Riley. I represent House District 34, which is part of Westbrook.
Okay, Representative Tuttle.
Mr. Chair, the last shall be first. John Tuttle, District 18, part of Sanford.
Great. And my name's Louis Lucchini. I represent most of Hancock County in the Senate. And with us today, we have our committee analyst, Janet Stocco, and our committee clerk, Karen Montel. The usual rules apply. We're live streaming on YouTube. If you're in the attendees list and we call you up to testify, it may take a second or look like you drop audio, but you'll be in just a second. So we've got 4 work sessions this morning, and we can, or actually, sorry, we've got the budget report back first. That we'll kick off with that. And so I don't think they've outlined a completely clear process on how we're supposed to report back, but I think what we'd like to do is just kind of walk through the budget document. We can take some straw votes and send it to appropriations if people are ready. If not, we can table particular elements. And I know we have the departments here as well with us. So Janet, if you are ready, can you please share or walk us through the document?
Certainly. So these are the portions of the change package. I sent you a separate document showing you where each piece that you voted on before is currently. So if you have questions, we can refer back to that. But I think that AFA wants you to just vote on the change package pieces at this point in time.
Okay.
So this first item is a deletion from the original biennial budget proposal. So it would have provided additional funding into the Adult Use Marijuana Regulatory Coordination Fund, but it's going to be removed. And the testimony from the commissioner was that this was an error, and that was actually the testimony at the original biennial budget hearing, and so you never actually voted on this initiative because you knew it was going to be removed. So.
Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I look at this and it says OSR revenue. Like, where is that revenue coming from? Is it coming from the 12% of the money that goes to public health and safety and education, or where exactly is that OSR money coming from?
I'm searching the statutes now. I don't know the answer to that question.
So I think it might be if it's the coordination fund, it might be 1102. Oh yeah, there it is.
That was in the department.
This doesn't tell us where it comes from. Let's see if we can find where it comes from.
Okay, and I don't know if anybody from OMP or DAFs is in the,
Here it is.
okay.
So it looks like the application fees for licenses, as you suggested, Representative Corey, do go into this fund.
Okay, but this was not in the quote bare bones budget, correct? Is
Correct.
that
This
why
was,
they need to add it now?
no, this is not an addition. This is a deletion. So the original budget had this item in it. In
Right,
the testimony at the time,
okay,
was
so
that
but
it
this
was going
wasn't,
to be removed in the change package. So you never voted on including this in budget because they always said they never meant to include it.
okay,
Yeah, I think the commissioner, indicated that this was an error, like Janet said, and they just said it's not necessary.
okay. I'd move that we move it in.
Great. So we have a motion to move in the deletion. It's a strange phrasing of this. Is there a second?
Second.
Great, thank you. So a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? Representative Chiazzo.
Thanks, the chair. I through the chair, I guess I'll ask Representative Corey, the purpose of moving this in would be to do what?
I mean, I guess we have to tell the appropriations committee that we as a committee would support this deletion,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
because I'm looking at least the entire change package. I'm following this in my change package book, and I don't know, I have to. It's going to be a discussion in appropriations too. It's not just going to be a discussion in this committee.
Yeah. And we'd be approving their deletion, their proposed deletion of this allocation. So I'm totally good with that, as Representative Corey said.
Thank you.
Yep. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. And, oops. Okay, Karen, if you can, please call the roll. That'd be great. Sorry, I can't see.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes, sorry.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dollar. Representative Dollar, absent. 8 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 5 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, so we can move to the next item.
So this is, again, the Adult Use Marijuana Regulatory Coordination Fund. It eliminates 3 temporary positions erroneously included in the baseline for the governor's recommended budget, which were erroneously included as permanent positions, and indicates that this is the baseline that was enacted in the the budget document you enacted in March. So this was an error in what was listed there as the baseline. So this is the correction to that error. Hopefully that makes sense.
Okay, Representative Corey.
Thank you. It's funny, I've been, reading through the budget document, not just what's happening in this committee, and erroneous seems to be the theme of the day. This is what happens when we pass one-page budgets that nobody actually reads before they vote on them. So, I mean, I'll vote to move this in because this was a mistake and, it shouldn't have happened, but we'll see this, further. This is $600 million that was put into, or $600,000 that was put into a budget that should have never been put in because it was baseline. Thank you.
Is any other discussion, or is anybody ready to make a motion?
I think Representative Corey has already made the motion, Mr. Chair. And I'll
Didn't
second
make a
it.
motion, but he said he would support moving it in. Technically,
Well, I'll move it in, Mr. Chair.
motion to move it in. Representative Tuttle, is there a second?
Second,
Seconded by Representative McCray. Any further discussion? Representative Corey? Or you good? Okay. Seeing no further discussion, we'll proceed to a roll call. Karen, please.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dollop. Representative Dollop, absent. 8 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 5 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you, Karen.
The next item, if you have it in front of you on paper, is on page 4. This is another correction. Oh, sorry. I was meant to scroll the other page on my computer. And this was something that we were told was an error in the original biennial budget hearings right at the start, that this reduces the funding in the cost of goods sold account to correct for an erroneous baseline increase. It says it's as enacted in that public law, but it was also just sort of included from the start as an error. So this is just an error correction about the cost of goods sold. The testimony from the budget briefing that I wrote down from the commissioner was that they don't usually include the cost of goods sold in the baseline budget.
Great. Thank you, Janet. And that's probably because they operate as like an enterprise account, right? I would think, maybe, I don't know. Representative Corey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a great one to point out too. The baseline budget, $272 million mistake in what was voted on as a bare bone budget. Thank you. I'll move it in.
Okay. Thank you. Motion to move it in by Representative Corey,
Second.
seconded by Representative Tuttle. Any further discussion? I think like Janet said, we had recommended removal the last time. Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Karen, please.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray,
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle,
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley,
Sorry, yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika,
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney, Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington, Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey,
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dolph, Representative Dolph, absent. 8 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 5 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Karen. Next line item.
So this is page 36. So the change package was the next one in our packet. And this is, we're moving now to the Department of Defense Veterans and Emergency Management. And this is deleting an initiative which provided funding for the approved rate change of 6 military fighter supervisor positions and 3 assistant military fire chief positions. At the budget briefing, we were told that this initiative is no longer necessary because the costs have already been paid administratively.
Okay, any questions, comments from the committee?
I'd move it in, Mr. Chair.
All right, motion to move in by Representative Tuttle,
Second.
seconded by Representative McCray. Karen, when you're ready, please.
Senator Lucchini, Senator Lucchini, absent.
Actually, hold on a second, Karen. I don't know if, I can't see the screen, so I don't even know if we have a senator. So we may not be able to hold the vote right now, actually. Sorry, I can see now we do not have a senator. So we're going to have to suspend the vote, I think, until we can get one back.
Mr. Chair, in a previous life, I was a senator. Would that count? Probably not.
It counts for me, Representative Tuttle, of course.
All right.
I don't know if it'll count for the rules or not. So,
Well, okay, yeah. No comment.
Janet, where
Representative McCray.
I wonder if we can call to get permission to vote without a senator. Call the presiding officer.
If you could do that for us, Karen, please, that would be great to see if we can keep the motion, keep things moving along here. That would be helpful. Thank you, Representative McCray. Representative Corey.
Janet, do you know what page that is on in the change package document?
The change package, this is 36.
Page 36.
At least it's 36 on the bottom of my page.
That's the correct page. Thank
Okay.
you.
I'm beginning to see a pattern develop. There he is. There's Senator Lucchini. So maybe we don't need dispensation. Maybe we'll get it anyway. Sorry, Chairman Lucchini, you're muted, but we didn't have a senator present, so we could not. We started, but we could not continue. And Karen is now calling the Senate President's office to see if we can get permission.
I'm back.
Did we get permission?
She was working on it, and then I saw Senator Lucchini come in the meeting, so
Okay.
we're covered.
Okay.
Senator Luke, want me to proceed? Or-
Yes, please continue. Yeah.
Senator Lucchini,
Is this the motion to move it in?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo,
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray,
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle,
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley,
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika,
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney, Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dollop. Representative Dollop, absent. 8 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 5 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Karen. And I can't see the screen, so Janet, I'm assuming we're going to keep going. We'll keep going through. I don't know where Senator Lucchini's on or not.
Okay, just let me know whenever you want me to stop sharing. So the next initiative is tied to language part RRR, which is, or as I was told, it's the pirate part R. This is providing one-time funding for the state's share of maintenance, repair, capital improvement, modernization, and energy efficiency projects for the main Army and Air National Guard readiness centers and support facilities. The testimony was that this replaces the LD3 bond proposal. Also, sorry, I forgot to mention this will, so you're voting, I think on both lines together, but what you're voting about is the other special revenue funds, and that will generate this match of federal funds.
Thank you for that, Janet. Chairman Lucchini.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's great that we're able to get this in into the budget rather than going through the bonding process, which I'm sure will be difficult as it always is. But I think it's really important updates to the armories. So I'd make a motion to move in these 2 lines in part R.
I believe that's R.
Second.
Third.
Motion by Senator Lucchini, seconded by Representative McCray. Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I understand sort of the federal expenditures piece. With regard to the OSR money, where is that coming from? It's not general fund then. Does it say OSR because it was going to be a bond, or where is that OSR money coming from?
I don't know that specifically. Chairman Lucchini, you may have the answer to that.
Federal government.
Yeah, we can bring in General Young.
Yeah.
Oops.
General Young, did you welcome, first of all, thank you for joining us this morning. Did you hear the question from Representative Corey?
Yes, I did, Representative Chiazzo. And my understanding of where the funds is coming from, it's explained to some degree in section RRR, but there is a transfer of funds to that special revenue account for the purposes of the capital improvements program for the Guard. It's a general fund type monies. Our intent is, the intent of this is that it's a non-lapsing account, gives us multiple years to expend due to the nature of how we deal with the federal government, respectful to the approval of projects and the flow of federal dollars.
Just real quick, what was that account called, the non-lapsing account that you were talking about? Does that have a specific?
I'm sure it does, Representative Corey. I'm not technically savvy enough on the budget side to give you the that account number, and I don't see it in the documents that I'm looking at right now. I can get that information to you if you would like.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Will do, certainly.
No other questions? So we have a motion on the floor is to move it in. Karen, when you're ready, please call the roll.
It's Friday, Representative. Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dollop. Representative Dollop, absent. 8 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 5 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you, Karen.
And I apologize, Representative Corey, it does say it right here in the language. It's from the unappropriated surplus of the general fund. So I should have scrolled to that to show you before.
That's page 53, it looks like, on the document.
Yeah, that's page 53, the language part. So I just kind of snuck it in the middle of the part A.
It's good to see it that way next to each other. Okay, so next we have more DBM items.
Right, so these are related to things you voted on earlier. So I'm just calling up on my other screen in case you ask me a question, those votes. Okay, so the first initiative is a deletion of an initiative that would have eliminated one part-time vacant Office Associate 2 position. And this was the Office Associate 2 position that was associated with the Veterans Homelessness Prevention Fund. And you all voted to take this initiative out by 11-0 vote in this committee. And so that's what this change package does, is take this out of the budget. So you're eliminating the elimination of the position if you vote for this. Clear as
Right. Yeah, thank you, Janet. And I guess we can take these one at a time, probably. So yeah, this is how we voted to eliminate this, and the departments kind of responded in action, you know, and yeah, we voted to eliminate the elimination, and then thanks to the department, they responded to kind of what we had asked, which is great. So any questions or discussion on this? Representative McCray.
So just restating what you just said, we wanted this position funded and it's now funded because, is that right?
Yep.
That's a much clearer way of saying it. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't think of that.
So I would move to this item in.
Second.
Okay, motion to move it in by Representative McCray and seconded by Representative Tuttle. Any further discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none. We'll proceed to a roll call vote. Karen, please.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dollop. Representative Dollop, absent. 8 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 5 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you. Karen? So next.
So the next item, it's deletion of an initiative that would have eliminated all other funding for one temporary office staff position and the reduction for 2 temporary groundskeeping staff position hours and dates of service for the Caribou and Augusta office within the same program. So I'll try and make it clear like Representative McCray did, but I don't think I can be that clear. So you wanted this funding restored, and that's what this would do. I think that's right.
Great. Any questions, discussion, or a motion? Representative McCray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would move this item in. Thank you.
Second.
Janet.
Okay, motion to move it in by Representative Craig, seconded by Representative Tuttle. Is there any further discussion? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, at the moment, we only have 6 present, it looks like. Oh, there we go, 7. All right, 1, 2. Okay, we've got 7 present, and since we're in this screen, actually, we can probably just do a show of hands on this one. The motion is to move it in by Representative McCray and seconded by Representative Tuttle. So let's do a show of hands. All those in favor of moving it in. So we got Representative McCray, Chiazzo, Tuttle, Corey, Wood, Supika, and Lucchini. And all those opposed, seeing none.
Don't forget to count yourself, Mr. Chair.
Got it. So it'd be 7-0. Great.
So the last one is, so this, it says reduces all other funding one time in the Veteran Services Program General Fund. So this was a sweeping of money, as I understand it, that was for the Veterans Homelessness Prevention Fund that was enacted as Public Law 2019, Chapter 504. That was supposed to be non-lapsing, but this would have swept it in the biennial budget. And so this initiative would delete that sweeping of the money. And hopefully General Young can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
You had voted not to sweep the money by 11-0 the first time you voted on the biennial budget. So this kind of agrees with your vote to not do that.
Right. Great. Thank you, Janet. General Young, did you have anything you'd like to offer on that, or it's just keeping the funding in? And I know the account was supposed to be non-lapsing based on the statute, but it somehow had gone into a lapsing account.
Yeah, that's correct. It was in our baseline, and we had proposed to eliminate the funding as a proposal for general cut in the department. This eliminates that proposed cut, and you'll see in other initiatives that I believe are on your list to vote today, where we're correcting the non-lapsing aspect of that fund.
Great.
If you want to vote those together, I can show them to you, or if you want to just go orderly through, that's fine. So.
Sure. I think if people are good, we can move both of these provisions together. And was there more than these 2, Janet? Or
oh, it's just this one on this page, page 38. And then there's also one on page 39. So this is part of it, making sure it's not lapsing. And then there's also one on page, I think it's 40. Yep. So page 40. So all of them are together.
Okay.
I'd move all of them in, Mr. Chair.
So motion to move in those 3 initiatives that all kind of work together to restore the funding.
Second.
Okay. Motion to move all 3 in by Representative Tuttle, seconded by Representative McCray. Any further questions on this one? Seeing none. Okay, we just need one more person and then we can vote. Okay, Karen, can you please call a roll call?
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley. Representative Riley, absent. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yeah.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dollar. Representative Dollar, absent. 7 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 6 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Karen.
Sorry, I just missed somebody, so I was just double checking. Because I have, Karen is nice to call the roll, but I have to submit my version of it. All right. Okay, I got that. So the next page, instead of deletions, these are new initiatives. So the first one continues 1 full-time public service coordinator, 1 position, and 1 60-hour bi-weekly office specialist, 1 position established by financial order and provides funding for related all other costs. And this is the SAA position that was discussed in the briefing. I believe, I could be wrong about that. That's what my notes say.
Thank you, Janet. Can you tell me what page you're on? I lost track on my document.
On page 39, the first top one.
Cool, thank you. Okay, any questions on this one?
I'd move in, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we've got a motion to move it in by Representative Tuttle. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative McCray. Any discussion or questions on this one? Representative McCray.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just double checking, is this related to the veteran service officer? Is this the position that works together with them?
I think we have both General Young and Director Richmond in, if either of you would like to address that.
I'd be happy to, Representative McCray. Good morning, everyone. To answer your question right now, those 2 individuals that work for the state approving agency are, they fall under the administration of the University of Maine system. And we were our state was one of the 3 states that received notice just after the new year that a new federal law required those 3 states, including ours, to move their SAA out of a university system because of a perceived conflict of interest. So the state approving authority, the agency, approves GI Bill programs, and it's a really valuable asset to veterans and their eligible family members who are trying to access coursework in the state. So we did want to keep that, and we've gone through most of the administrative procedures to keep those 2 positions, and they would be moved under our bureau with this initiative.
Thank you for that reminder, and I agree, very important. Thank you.
Any further questions on this? Okay, seeing none. Karen, if you'd please call the roll.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley. Representative Riley, absent.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Sorry.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dolliff. Representative Dolliff, absent. 8 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 5 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you, Karen.
The next item is a new initiative, provides funding for Veteran Cemetery mowing contract, gravestone placement services, and facility and infrastructure sustainment. It's $100,000 a year. And the information was that it's $50,000 for the Southern Maine Veteran Cemetery. That's the mowing contract portion. $25,000 per year for headstone setting contract in Augusta. And then the rest, $25,000 per year for the infrastructure and facility sustainment.
I'd move in, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Motion to move it in by Representative Tuttle. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative McCray. I think this is kind of the provision that I know Representative Tuttle had been really working on for that Southern Maine location, it looks like. So any further discussion on this? Okay, seeing none. The motion's to move it in, and Karen, if you don't mind, if you could call the roll, please.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dolliff. Representative Dolliff, absent. 8 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 5 members absent, Mr. Chair.
So the next one you already voted, as well as the one after that. So we're now moving to page 184 of the change package.
Okay, so that's all for the DVM initiatives?
That's not all I saw. If I missed one, hopefully they'll tell me.
Okay. Well, thank you to both General Young and Director Richmond for your help. Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Was there a DEEM initiative on page 40? Were we just on page 40, or what page were we just previously on?
Yeah,
We
the
did
one on page 40 was done with, it was combined with 2 other motions. It was a 3-part motion related to that fund.
Yeah, okay. So it was essentially from page 38, it was the last initiative where the 100. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the bottom 38, bottom 39, and 40, I think was.
Okay, great, thank you.
That's when I got lost on where I was after that, bouncing around.
Apologize for that.
No, it's good.
So this one, it's in the Department of Public Safety. It's a new initiative, increases allocation to align with revenue changes approved by the Revenue Forecast Committee in May 2021. For first fiscal years ending June 30th of 2022 and 2023. We don't have testimony on this, but it looks like it does what it says in the initiative.
Okay, Representative Corey. Oh, you good? Okay. Yep. So from what I could tell, this was just like it says, a change in the revenue forecast. I think the whole gambling control fund has been varied depending on operations at casinos, which I'm not positive if that's what this comes from, but.
I did want to say that you don't have to vote on any of these items. I'm not discouraging you from voting on this, but it's just that you're supposed to give input on any comments or recommendations you want to give. So certainly feel free to vote on this item, but I don't think you should feel like you have to.
Right. Yeah, I don't really think this is like an initiative that would normally require a vote. So if people are good, we can just move on. I think the gambling revenues will fluctuate a lot, particularly as things reopen. Including the capacity. Oops, sorry. Yep.
So I'm moving to the Secretary of State, which is on page 188 of the change package. And I don't know if you want to vote the first two together or not, but they're both reorganizations of positions. So the first one is reorganization of one public service manager 1 to a public service manager 2 position. And the second one is the reorganization of one corporation and elections program specialist position to a public service manager 1 position. Based on what the Secretary of State said, although I think she's here, if you want to ask her directly, I think the first one is the Director of Elections and Commissions, and the second one's the Assistant Director. And their organizations to increase their pay based on increased duties or reevaluation. It was management initiated, I believe she said during her briefing.
I'd move both in, Mr. Chair.
Okay, a motion to move in both initiatives. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Representative McCray. And these are, I think, really important upgrades to these positions that are really important positions within our elections team. I don't know, Secretary Bellows, did you want to add anything on that? Or yeah, so if anyone from the Secretary of State's had anything to add, feel free. There you are. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yep.
No, I thank you very much. You know, we would just say that you've heard me say this over almost 3,000 hours of overtime were worked in 2020. I supplied data to your committee about prior years of overtime hours as well. And the responsibilities are ever increasing in complexity of these two positions. They're being asked to do more and take on higher levels of autonomous work. And when we reviewed compensation within the department relative to the municipal clerks, we realized that we were really not keeping up, and that could create challenges for retention and recruitment in the future. So we have an amazing election staff. I can't say it enough. Deputy Flynn is here. She and her team, they were super people, supermen, superwomen. Last in 2020, they pulled off something incredible, and they gave up nights and weekends, 73 weeks worth So thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. Fellows, I think, yeah, I agree. This is really important, especially at those two positions who do amazing work on these two initiatives. Any further discussion on this? Okay, seeing none. We can actually, since we're in this view, we can do a hand raise if that's not problematic for everybody. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Forward okay. Gives us great peace of mind.
Right. So all those in favor, please hold up your hand and I'll read it out so everybody can see. So we've got Representative McCrate, Tuttle, Piazzo, Corey, Wood, Riley, Supika, and Lucchini. Great. Thank you.
I think Secretary Bellows voted for that too, right, Jenna?
The next initiative is something you proposed in your report back document on the original biennial budget proposal. So it establishes one elections coordinator position and provides funding for related all other costs.
Thank you, Janet. And this is that position in response to the information requests and the high level of overtime that people have worked. So any discussion or do we have a motion?
Move in, Mr. Chair.
Motion to move it in by Representative Tuttle. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative Chiazzo. And Representative Chiazzo, did you have a question?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know initially we talked about this position being a 1.5 position or something like that. So I'm certainly going to support the motion to move it in, but I would request that the Secretary of State continue to monitor the overtime situation and keep this committee abreast of any significant overtime increases or costs or impacts on the department as a whole, so we can reevaluate if we have to in the very near future. Thank you.
Thanks. And I think we came to one as kind of a compromise in the previous, yeah. But Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm likely not going to support this. This would be adding a position and that would increase the baseline. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on this one? Seeing none, Karen, could you please call the roll?
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCrate.
Yes.
Representative McCrate, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood. Representative Wood, absent. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
No.
Representative Corey, no. Representative Dollar. Representative Dollar, absent. 6 in favor of the motion, 1 opposed to the motion, and 6 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Karen. And Representative Corey, is your motion or minority report to move it out, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
The final one on this page is, according to the Secretary of State, really within jurisdiction of the State and Local Government Committee. So I don't know if you want to vote on it or not.
Yeah, I think we can leave that to state and local.
And that is all Doesn't scroll down any further.
Awesome. Thank you, Janet. Great. And did they give us a timeline on the report back? Do you know, Janet?
Okay.
It's kind of been vague. What's that? I'm sorry.
According to the memo I saw, our comments or recommendations are due in writing no later than 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Very specific time.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll just put a cover sheet on that and attach your votes, unless you have something specific you want me to emphasize in the memo.
Yeah, I think there may be some further discussion, possibly around veterans issues, but I think we may want to wait till we have more people here to see if we can figure out anything recommendation we want to make to appropriations on some of the veteran stuff. Which I know we had tried before, but I think it's a good opportunity to do it while we're in the budget. Representative McCray.
I'm thinking about the Secretary of State positions, and I guess since we had a divided report, it doesn't work, but I was hoping we could make a strong statement in support, but maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, we can from, I guess, the majority side of support if you wanted to. I mean, in the letter, we can explain the rationale. We did when we voted for it unanimously previously, put in the rationale, so we can do that. Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, I likely would have supported those positions if this had been part of an actual larger budget conversation, but considering the way this has been done, I'm not going to support that position. Thank you.
Understood. Yep. Representative Chiazzo. Oh. Nope. Okay. All right, so I guess for now that will conclude our budget talk, but if we wanted to do more, I think, which we will, I guess, look into on the veteran stuff, we can do that at a later time. We have more members present. So next, we'll move on to our work sessions for bills. And so we've got got 4 bills. Actually, what we can do, I know Representative Kinney is not going to be here today, so her bill is on the list. I guess just procedurally, we can table it if people are good with getting that out of the way right now, and that's
Yeah, I move we table a bill, Mr. Chair.
okay. Sorry, I'm trying to find the number. Okay, so this is LD 1496. We can take it up when she's back.
Right.
So motion to table 1496 by Representative Tuttle, seconded by Representative Chiazzo. Tablings, non-debatable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we've got a quorum present. So Karen, if you'd please call the roll.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren. Senator Farren, absent. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood. Representative Wood, absent. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dollop. Representative Dollop, absent. 7 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 6 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Karen. So that one we'll schedule for next week at some point. Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can we take a break? I'd like to try to connect with some of my members.
Yeah, sure.
There's none of them here right now.
Yep. Actually, if we can do one more vote, if Representative Tuttle's ready on his bill, and then we can break for the, if that works for you.
Okay, that works. That
Yeah.
works for me. I feel a little funny right now.
No, it is a little weird, I gotta say.
Yep, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I want to make a motion that I would kill my own bill. How's that, Pat?
I'll second that for you. I don't know what the bill is, but I'll second it for you.
It was a good bill when I put it in, Pat. It was
LD
the veteran
1537.
cemetery bill.
Yep, so we're talking about LD 1537, an act to restore funding to the Southern Maine Veterans Cemetery. And as we just kind of walked through the
Included in the budget.
yep, they threw it in that proposal. So great. So we have a motion of ought not to pass by Representative Tuttle and seconded by Representative Corey. Any further discussion on this? Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As long as we're trying to bury my mother-in-law there right now. Passed away earlier this year from COVID, sadly. So I just want to make sure this doesn't affect that at all. So thank you.
Yeah, we've got some, I think 50,000 added in to help the cemetery. So in the budget. So yeah, I'm sorry to hear. Any other discussion? Seeing none, the motion before us is ought not to pass. And Karen, would you please call the roll?
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. Senator Hickman, absent. Senator Farren.
Yes.
Senator Farren, yes. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
No, I mean, yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dollar. Representative Dollar, absent. 9 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 4 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you, Karen. Yep, so we'll take a recess. What do you think, like 15 minutes or half hour?
Is it? I have to leave by noon for a doctor's appointment, so I was just wondering if we could make it a quick break so I could at least be here for the beginning of the discussion on the semi-open primaries.
Yep. Do you have a preference on time, Representative Corey?
It looks like some of my members are showing up now, considering Representative Farren was on the last vote and Representative Dolliff's name has just popped up. We can make it brief, like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you need. Yeah, it's good. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll take a break and we'll shoot for like quarter of. Thanks. And same link gets you back.
Thank you.
All right. If we're ready to go, we can get restarted and at least get the conversation going. And if obviously if people need breaks at any time before the vote, we can take more breaks. So I think, Janet, if we can, let's move to the open primary bills, and maybe we can walk through the amendment to 231.
Certainly. So like we did last time, combine the work session on 231 and 303. Oh, he disappeared. I think that's what he means.
Sorry, Janet, what was that?
You're combining the work session again on 231 and 303 like we did last time?
I think that'll work. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, Chairman Chiazzo, if I can turn it over to you, that'd be great.
So Senator Hickman sent an updated version of the sponsor's proposed amendment, and he was sponsoring it for her before the committee. And so this changes the title of the bill to add the word or the phrase semi. So it's an act to establish semi-open primaries. Section 1 of the bill, which deletes a cross-reference to section 340, is retained. We'll talk about 340 in a second. Section 2 under the amendment clarifies that if a voter withdraws from a party, so then all of a sudden becomes an unenrolled voter, there's a 15-day waiting period before they would be able to participate in the primary election. Unless when they withdraw their enrollment, they are also concurrently changing their municipality of residence with their voter registration. And I believe this was intended to mirror current law, which says that if you switch parties, you can't vote in a primary election for 15 days after switching parties. The amendment does not remove section 2 of the bill. It's section 2 of the bill repeals section 340 of Title 21A, and that is the section of law that allows parties to decide the enrollment qualifications for their primary elections. So that's still part of this bill as amended. Section 3 in the amendment fixes a cross-reference. So as I mentioned up here, there's going to be a restriction after you withdraw from a party. You can't vote in a primary for 15 days. The original way the bill was written is it says that a voter can't, a voter who's unenrolled in a party can participate in a primary except as provided in section 144. Section 144 is that provision of current law that says when you switch parties, you have to wait 15 days before voting in a primary. But that doesn't make sense as the cross-reference here, because if you switch party, you're still in a party. So that doesn't mean you're an unenrolled voter who we need to be concerned about voting in a different party's primary. So that's why that was struck out, and we put in a cross-reference to 145, which was just created above. So the only thing you need to worry about for an unenrolled voter now picking a primary to vote in is that if it's within 15 days of them becoming unenrolled, there's that holding period when they cannot participate. Section 4 of the bill is retained. Section 4 is the repeal of the statute that allows parties to pick the enrollment qualifications for voting in their presidential primary elections. Again, when we're talking about presidential primary elections, there's an amendment included here to fix the cross-reference again to talk about, we're only talking about restrictions on unenrolled voters because the unenrolled voters are now newly allowed to vote in primaries. And again, it's the 15 days after you withdraw from your party, during which you can't vote in the presidential primary if we're looking at this section of the amendment. Then the next couple of provisions were included in the original version of the amendment, but just to remind you, the bill just talked about the ability of an unenrolled voter to vote in either a regular primary election or a presidential primary election. And the sponsor originally offered to amend the bill to include the following types of provisions. And so these are still there, but I'm just going to go through them again. So it provides here on this top of page 2 that the allocation of delegates for the state convention for the primary can be based upon the number of people who voted in the primary, even if those voters were unenrolled voters, but the delegates still have to be members of the party. This next provision talks about when the election officials issue a ballot during the primary election, and it just clarifies that they need to note on the incoming voting list which party ballot the unenrolled voter requested. And then in the next provision of the amendment, that information is going to be entered in the central voter registration system, voter participation history, so that there is a record of which ballot for the primary any unenrolled voter selected. If they did, they're not required to, of course. The next part of the amendment is the part of the amendment that talks about the delegates to the presidential nomination convention for each party. And again, it's going to provide that the allocation of delegates can be based upon the number of people who voted in the party's primary, even if those voters were unenrolled voters. And the last part of the amendment changes the effective date to January 1st, 2024.
Thank you, Janet. Chairman Lucchini.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And sorry, I had to step away, but I just wanted to remind everybody, even though we've got these open, there is a motion on the floor on LD 231 of ought to pass as amended by Senator Hickman and seconded by Representative McCray. So just so people know where we are procedurally.
Thank you, Chairman Lucchini. So motion in play. Chairman Lucchini.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I think if we don't mind, we can bring in Deputy Secretary Flynn. I think there was one provision that they may have recommended, and once Julie's in, she can welcome Deputy Secretary Flynn. I know we had talked just on perhaps putting a similar provision in to Section 7 on Senator Hickman's amendment, just applying that to absentee ballots as well. Is that?
Yes, I think reading it, I think the provision in Section 7 it mirrors what they do for regular voters coming in that are in a party. It's repeating the party and making sure the voter knows they're getting the right ballot. But we do think that it should be added to the in-person absentee voting section of the law so that the clerks are doing the same thing. So that would be Section 753-B as in boy, subsection 8. And I know that's being amended in the agency bill, LD 1363. So I think we'll make a small challenge for your analyst, but not much of one. I think she'll probably figure out how to do that.
She's always up to the task.
It may be that each bill amends it slightly differently. And then the errors bill in the future could just combine those amendments. So each will appear, if you search the statutes online, you'll see this version and this version, and they both add a sentence. I can see if there's a way around that, but if that happens, that's a typical thing that the errors bill fixes, and both are good law at the meantime, my understanding.
And this has an effective date of January 1, 2024, this bill, right? So
yep,
that new provision wouldn't take effect till then.
Great, thanks.
Senator Hickman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would amend my motion to include that as a friendly amendment to it, just so that there's clarity in the process.
Thank you, Senator Hickman. And Representative McCray, are you still willing to stand with your second? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Representative Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize, but I'm going to have to leave in 2 minutes for a prior appointment. But I did want to just say that I strongly support LD 231. And I think it's time for Maine to move to semi-open primaries. We're one of the few states that don't have semi-open primaries. I've heard from a lot of people about this, including my own partner, who moved here from Massachusetts and was shocked when she went to vote in her first primary that she wasn't able to do that because she was registered as an independent. She has since changed her registration in order to be able to vote in primaries. But I think it's what we need to do. And for me, it's about the fact that the number of independents out there, or unenrolled, as we call them in Maine, continues to grow. I mean, during the testimony, we heard that almost 32% of Maine voters are unenrolled, and we're cutting them out of part of our election process. 49% of veterans are unenrolled, which I didn't realize that until we heard about it during the public hearings. 50% of millennials, I think a lot of young people aren't attached to parties. And even though I am, and I would like them to be, it's the direction that people are going. And I feel that we're cutting them out of part of a very important part of our process for elections. And so I hope that we can move one of these bills forward. In particular, I'm supporting 231. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Wood. Any other comments, discussion from the committee? Okay, seeing none, then the motion on the floor is ought to pass as amended. Karen, if you are ready, please call the roll.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Senator Hickman, yay. Senator Farren. I can come back to Senator Farren. Looks like he's on camera or in the meeting. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
That was Professor Chiazzo. Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Wood, yes. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
No.
Representative Corey, no. Representative Dollop.
No.
Representative Dollop, no. Senator Farren. He mouthed no. You're
no.
mute.
There you go.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Farren, no. 8 in favor of the motion, 3 opposed to the motion, and 2 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Karen. The motion ought to pass as amended is successful. Those 2 absentees have until noon on Monday to cast their vote. Representative Wood, did you have something you'd like to add?
Representative Chiazzo, were you going to ask the minority members their
I was, yes. Of course I was, Janet. As always. Yes, thank you.
I could sense it.
Senator Farren, do you want to?
Yeah, just straight ought not to pass.
Okay. Everyone in the minority okay with that? Okay. Thank you. Senator Lucchini, if you want, I will turn the reins over to you for the last 2 bills, or we'll keep going. It's entirely up to you. You are busy today.
Here. Well, not really. I just try to look busy, you know. Yeah, we'll
I have
go
to learn that.
Yeah. I think everybody's just tired at this point in session. So I guess given that we just chose to move a bill out, we can go to the others now. So LD 303, is there a motion for that bill?
I move ought not to pass, Mr. Chair.
Motion ought not to pass by Representative Tuttle, seconded by Representative Supika. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Okay. We will proceed to a roll call vote, and the motion before us is ought not to pass. Karen,
Senator sorry.
sorry, I forgot to ask you.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. I can come back to Senator Hickman. Senator Farren.
Yes.
Senator Farren, yes. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
No.
Representative
No.
Tuttle,
Representative
yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood. Representative Wood, absent. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dolph.
Yes.
Representative Dolph, yes. Senator Hickman.
May I please ask the motion and the bill?
Yes.
Yep.
Bill, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we've got ought not to pass on LD 303, one of the other open primary bills.
Yay.
Senator Hickman, yay. 10 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 3 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Karen. And anyone absent will have until noon on Monday to vote. And I guess in regards to the last of the open primaries bills, LD 1121, do we have a motion for that?
Move ought not to pass, Mr. Chair.
Motion of ought not to pass by Representative Tuttle. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Representative Supika. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none. The motions ought not to pass. Karen, if we can do a roll call, please.
Senator Lucchini.
Yes.
Senator Lucchini, yes. Senator Hickman. I can come back. Senator Hickman. Senator Farren.
Yes.
Senator Farren, yes. Representative Chiazzo.
Yes.
Representative Chiazzo, yes. Representative McCray.
Yes.
Representative McCray, yes. Representative Tuttle.
Yes.
Representative Tuttle, yes. Representative Riley.
Yes.
Representative Riley, yes. Representative Supika.
Yes.
Representative Supika, yes. Representative Wood. Representative Wood, absent. Representative Kinney. Representative Kinney, absent. Representative Harrington. Representative Harrington, absent. Representative Corey.
Yes.
Representative Corey, yes. Representative Dolph.
Yes.
Representative Dolph, yes. Senator Hickman.
We are voting on.
Oh. LD 1121, and the motion is ONTP.
Yay.
Senator Hickman, yay. 10 in favor of the motion, 0 opposed to the motion, and 3 members absent, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you, Karen. So that concludes the close of the work session on LD 1121. And that is the final of the work sessions that we had today. Next up, we have a public hearing on a bill. Let's see if we can find it. So we have LD 1726, an act to increase transparency in political communications. And we'll recognize the sponsor, President Jackson, welcome.
Hey, Senator Lucchini, Representative Cazzo, members of the Veterans Legal Affairs Committee. You guys all look tired already. Thank you for your work, all of you. I know it's a hectic time of year, so. As I said, Senator Lucchini, Representative Cazzo, members of the Joint Standing Committee on Veterans Legal Affairs. My name is Troy Jackson, and I represent the people of Northern Rosick in the Senate District 1. I'm here today to present LD 1726, an act to increase transparency in political communications. Over the past few years, there's certainly been a dramatic increase in the number of what I would call fake news websites circulating online and in social media feeds. By and large, these websites are intentionally designed to look like a news organization. What sets the websites apart is that it's difficult to find out who runs it, who funds it, and many of the articles are both unsourced and have no byline. Several investigations have found that these fake news websites are funded and run by political operatives or organizations to promote a particular cause, agenda, or political candidate. In 2018, an anonymous website called the Maine Examiner appeared during the election cycle, targeting Democratic candidates up and down the ballot. The website continues to run sensational stories with provocative headlines and misleading pictures to generate controversy. When the news first broke back then, the Maine Republican Party denied any affiliation to the Maine Examiner.
Oh.
However, following some investigative reporting and a complaint with the Maine Ethics Commission, the executive director of the Maine Republican Party admitted to owning the anonymous website. Following the admission, he added his name to the website, but it is buried within the website, and his connection to the Maine Republican Party appears at the bottom of his bio. So this bill looks to address the issue of fake news sites by stating that a political communication that is in the guise of news should clearly state in clear language at the top of the site who it is paid for, authorized by. If the communication is a printed, email, or internet post communication, disclosure must be in capital letters and at least 12-point bold font. Now, all of us know that when we run for office and enter politics, we do so knowing that we leave ourselves open to public scrutiny and political attacks of all sorts. But the fact is that in today's day and age, people shouldn't have to work that hard to find out whether the things that look like news on the internet are accurate or not. But what we're seeing is that political operatives and special interests are creating websites that are intentionally designed to look like newspapers in order to trick Mainers and push their own political agenda. I wholeheartedly believe in the First Amendment and the right to say whatever you want, even if it's just not true. All this bill says is that you should be willing to put your name on it. This bill is about transparency. Mainers deserve to know who is funding and running these websites. I'll certainly try and take any questions. As I said, I think this is good transparency for everyone. Again, you can make any claim you want, but I think if you want to make that claim, you should at least be willing to, again, put your name to it. So with that, I'll certainly try and take any questions.
Thank you, President Jackson. Representative Dolph.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a statement, not a question. Senator Jackson, just so you know, that this actually happened to me. So I know you mentioned the Republicans doing it, but it also happened to me on my campaign from the Democrats. Thank you.
And Representative Doloff, if that is the case, obviously, I mean, I'm not saying that that didn't happen to you, that would be covered in this too. I don't have that experience, obviously, with what happened to you. I have the other side of it, but I definitely understand and I feel the same way. I mean, your record's your record, and I expect those things, but what I don't expect is to have constituents call me up asking me, why this happened or why that happened, and not actually knowing where it came from. That is the only thing that, I'd like to see corrected, is that at least people can clearly see where this is coming, regardless of where it comes from.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. But like I said, this happened to me. I got so many text messages, emails, and everything. And then the so-called link that they put up against me, didn't go anywhere.
Mhm.
And
I just
you
want
know.
to, Representative Dahl, if you could hold for a second, I just want to remind us, this is public hearing, right? So questions for the presenter, of course. We will have work session on this, and we will have ample opportunity to debate that, I'm sure. So I don't want to cut you off, Representative Dahl, but certainly if you have a question.
No, that's perfectly okay. I just wanted to kind of make that statement. I didn't mean to go into a debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Dahl. Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'd probably echo a little bit of what Representative Dahl said. I am going to ask a question here. I'm not going to make a statement. I've been attacked by 501 C4s with mailers where the name sounds all sweet, you know what I mean, and it really doesn't describe who's sending it out. It has a a cute name, and unless you're extremely adept at going and carving through campaign finance reports, it's very difficult to say exactly who funded it. With that, I have a strong belief that a huge part of the First Amendment is that anonymous speech actually is free speech. Do you believe that anonymous speech is covered by the First Amendment, Senator Jackson?
That free speech is covered by the First Amendment?
Anonymous speech is covered by the First Amendment.
I honestly not sure. I mean, what I believe is free speech is covered by the First Amendment. What I also believe is that, if you're willing to put something out there, the public should know where it came from. You certainly can hide behind things, but even that, you should be able to be willing to put that out there so that people might have. I mean, I was actually involved in trying to track this down, and the way that this actually had to go, and the digging that had to happen to actually get the information in the case that went to the main ethics. I mean, I couldn't have done that as a private citizen.
Yeah, thank you. I probably agree with you more than you think I do. I love those dirt bags that went after me and didn't put their names on it to be nailed to a wall. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Well, let's do it. I agree. Listen, I like I said, I mean, people will attack us, me, for our record, and I find that fine. And then at times they probably say things that aren't accurate about our record. But I think at minimum, if you're going to do that, I mean, lying is free speech too. I just think that people should know where it comes from. Now, I agree that my testimony was about one political party. I am not saying it doesn't happen on the other side. What I had was an example, and certainly if anyone else would have been testifying here, they probably could have given an example of the other side, and I totally would have agreed with that too. I only could speak about what I had actually dealt with. This would cover all of it, obviously, and I just think that would be a better system, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Corey. Any other questions for President Jackson? Okay, seeing none, thank you, President Jackson, for introducing the bill, and look forward to hopefully seeing you at the work session as well. Sounds like we got a lot to talk about.
All right, take care, everyone.
Thank you. So now we'll open it up to the public hearing side. Just a reminder, if you could please state your name, your address, where you're from at the beginning of your testimony, and I will start the 3-minute timer as soon as you begin your testimony. So on the list, it looks like we have, let me see here, Suzanne Goucher, John Brodigam, and Jonathan Wayne. And let me just make sure they are in the attendee room. I see John Brodigam. We'll bring him in first. And then Director Wayne. So Mr. Brodigam, when you are ready, sir, you have the floor.
Representative McCray has her hand up. Mr.
Yeah, if you
Chair.
could defer for a second, Mr. Brodigam. Representative McCray.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to ask if you'd like me to do the clock since you're chairing.
Oh, Sure, if you'd like to, please. That would be very helpful. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Always happy to hand the scythe of the Grim Reaper off to somebody else for sure. Mr. Brodigan, sir, when you are ready.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. You hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, and you know, thank you all for your service. I know this is a long and a trying time of the session. My name is John Brodigan. I am a resident of Falmouth, and I'm here today as legal counsel and policy advisor for Maine Citizens for Clean Elections. And we testified neither for nor against 1726, although there's a lot to like in this, and we appreciate the Senate President's diagnosis of this problem, and we agree with that. We support the goals of this bill, and we just would like to add some contextual comments. In our view, a successful democracy requires an informed public. And what this means is that really, in this time and age, access to the internet. Unlike establishing a paper newspaper, setting up a news source on the internet is quick and cheap and can be done from anywhere in the world. And this begins to raise questions about their influence on us all, accountability, transparency, and what role they play. Internet news sites are, and I put news in quotes, are increasingly savvy about using the appearance of traditional media in an attempt to create the impression of objectivity and credibility. It's become quite difficult for the public to discern whether an online site is actually a biased campaign organization, a truly objective independent media source, or something in between. And the ability to make these judgments is not uniformly distributed across the generations. Some people do a better job of this than others. While there are some who want the government to regulate in this area, our democracy will function best if consumers have the tools and skills to make those judgments for themselves. Those judgments should be well informed. Where an internet site is funded and created by a paid political operative, complete disclosure of the funding source, and effective disclosure, I should add, can help the public put the site's content in perspective and exercise an informed judgment. It's not a great stretch over the principles now applied to many forms of disclosure and disclaimers, such as you see in 21A, section 1014 already. We acknowledge that there are important First Amendment considerations in this arena. Deciding whether a website is in, quote, in the guise of news, unquote, could be a complicated judgment. And some would find that excessively strict reporting or disclosure rules in this area could chill legitimate speech. So I just add that we're happy to work with the committee and the sponsor between now and the work session to help to refine this if that's the wish of the committee. So that's it. Thank you very much. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Brodigan. Any questions from the committee? Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for being here, Mr. Brodigan. I do have some of these free speech concerns. One, you know, I looked it up and the Supreme Court has definitely said over and over again that anonymous speech is free speech. Number two, you know, I think that we're talking about sort of campaign finance issues here, but I don't know that we're actually talking about campaign finance. Like, you know, I certainly have a strong belief that some of these 501c4s doing their quote educational mailers, especially around campaign time, you know, are playing right on the edge of, you know, the campaign laws, and that certainly those organizations don't readily disclose, do you know what I mean, who their board of directors are, who wrote the campaign piece. So I am getting to a question here. If we are going to look at doing this, do we need to figure out how to restrict the language of some of these 501c4 organizations as well, or is that also protected by the Supreme Court and the First Amendment? Thank you.
Well, I would just say that you're absolutely right that the First Amendment does apply in this area, and including in the area of anonymous speech. But in the campaign finance and campaign disclosure context, simply requiring some disclosure of who paid for something does not infringe the First Amendment right in the sense that it's off grounds for the state to actually try to do that. So there are First Amendment rights, but a limited amount of regulation in terms of disclosure requirements fall far short of actually prohibiting that kind of speech. Of course, we couldn't do that, but actually, there are a lot of precedents for requiring people to attach their name to a form of speech when it's closely connected to a campaign. And that's why you see these words expressly advocate at various points in Title 21A. And that express advocacy is a court's way of drawing a line over what you can regulate more robustly and what is more on the side of just open debate and dialogue that should be regulated only with a very light touch. There's important questions of where to draw that line, and whether that line applies exactly in this case is a little bit hard to say, but the values underlying the bill are important, and so we agree with them.
So, thank you, Mr. Brodigan. Just a quick follow-up. So, back to these 501c4, organizations, I had a 501c4 organization do an educational mailer about me in my district. And, they didn't do it against the other two, Wyndham representatives, even though they voted, the same way I did. I mean, really, aren't we campaigning when we're doing targeted mailers in specific districts against one party or another, if you're not broadly circulating that mailer?
Yeah, again, that's where this concept of express advocacy comes into play. I mean, a mailer that says that Patrick Corey is, supports these terrible things is, more on the free speech side, very difficult to regulate. A mailer that says, Patrick Corey ought to be reelected or ought not to be reelected, that is more on the side that where more disclosure, more regulation can happen. And I don't really know about the particular website that President Jackson was referring to in his statement, whether that was on the express advocacy side or whether it was more the issue-oriented side. I'm not really completely sure about that. But the fact that it was run by a person who is an employee of a political party, then it might be relevant in determining, how much regulation can be applied, whereas somebody who's completely, separated from any candidate or any party might be harder to apply any regulations to them.
I know this is a group of hardcore political organizations that, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Corey. Representative McCray, did you have a question?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I was just more of a general question. I'm curious about what suggestions, Mr. Brodigan, what you would have to clarify, make this clear. I guess clearer is the word. And that's you offered to work with the sponsor. So I guess we would find out later, but I'm just curious.
Well, one question that I thought might be worth clarifying is this, I think, is intended to apply only where the communication at issue is coming from somebody who is an agent or an employee of a candidate or a committee or a political party. So that's one thing, just to clarify that it's not talking about somebody who is a strong, partisan ideological person who's just in their garage typing on the internet. This is somebody who actually has an official connection to a candidate or a party. And then I think if that clarification is made, then I think that there may be more that can be considered there. And I think it'd be worth doing a little research around where the boundaries on that could be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative McCray. Any other questions for Mr. Brodigan while we have him here? No, seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Brodigan, for your testimony. We appreciate your time this afternoon. Up next, we have Director Wayne from the Ethics Commission. Good afternoon, Director. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for letting me testify on behalf of the staff of the Ethics Commission. I have to acknowledge that I haven't had a lot of chance to study the bill, but I did have a quick back and forth with our the Assistant Attorney General who's assigned as our counsel. And I certainly understand where the sponsor is coming from. And I do remember generally the case that he was referring to from a couple of years ago. And I understand why it was so troubling at the time. The only caution I have is that I think it might be a good idea for the legislature or for the committee to confer with the Assistant Attorney General who's assigned to help us out due to some phrasing in here that's kind of vague. And like, for example, I'm a little confused. What is it all internet and email activities that are conducted by the employee of the party or the candidate that would need to have this attribution statement on it? Or is it only those that mention candidates or in a certain time period before the election or involve that express advocacy that Mr. Brodigan was referring to? So I think whenever you're requiring folks to include certain language in their political communication, you just need to make sure that the trigger and the circumstances for when they have to do that is really clear. So I'll submit something in writing and I'll certainly copy the sponsor on it at that point. But that's sort of my overall recommendation. And just generally, if I can be helpful in any other way, I'd like to help out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Wayne. Always appreciate your and the commission's testimony.
Thank you.
Representative Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm looking at this bill, and I mean, this is just something real quick, but I'm wondering if the Maine Ethics Commission even has the capacity to enforce something like this. Namely, like in a section of this, it specifies, that something has to be a 12-point, bold font. And what's interesting is, when you look at internet sort of communications, we don't build websites using points. We use pixel sizes when we do that. A communication could be designed at 12 points, but by the time that it shows up on a mobile device and somebody has put, and I imagine this is why, it gets a little bit different when we're talking about internet advertising within, the clean election laws, the disclosure requirements, that may not appear as something that's actually 12 points, depending on what type of a device it's on. Does the Maine Ethics Commission have graphic designers that will be working for you or have worked for you in the past to actually look into whether or not these types of laws will, be enforced?
Well, I think it's a good general overall point that, the state has to be careful, again, when you're requiring certain language to appear in a political communication in a certain format, in a certain time, in a certain location, that the state just doesn't go too far in imposing an unreasonable requirement or one that detracts from the message of the communication, which is protected. We don't have graphic designers on our staff. All I can say is we would, just try to apply the law in a common sense way, given the particular circumstances of the communication.
So as a graphic designer, just real quick, another piece of this is that it specifies that it has to be in all caps. Well, that's not how people best read things. They read shapes. They don't read actual letters. I mean, do you think that would be a good requirement to have things in all caps?
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion. I understand that, this is the goal here is to try to make it conspicuous, and I get that, and that there is similar language in another subsection of 1014 that require a certain size font in all caps, and so I understand both points of view. You just need to make sure you're staying within what the state can do.
Thank you, Mr. Director.
Thanks.
Thank you, Representative Corey. Any other questions for Director Wayne while we have him here? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Director, for your time. We appreciate you checking in, and please work with the analyst to get your questions and concerns to her as well. Before we get to the work sessions. Very compressed time as always, as you are well aware. So, thank you. Next up on the list, we had Suzanne Goucher, but I do not see her in the attendee room. So that will end the list of those who signed up to testify. If there is anybody in the attendee room who wishes to speak, if you could raise your hand, we will recognize you and bring you in for your testimony. Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing on LD 1726. And I think that's it for our agenda today, Karen and Janet, sorry, and Karen, unless we have other things to get to. No? Chairman Lucchini, anything else that you can think of on our docket we need to address?
To indigent
no, not as long as we don't have any language reviews, then we're good.
Are
right?
both designed.
Cool.
Okay. All right, seeing none, Representative McCray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to see if we have a preview of days next week for the committee.
All of them.
Okay. That's what I'm expecting, but I thought I'd ask.
We'll definitely be in on Monday, and I think we're doing marijuana bills on Monday, and then basically whatever we have left we'll pick up. Because some things may take longer to resolve and may get tabled more and more because we have a pile of marijuana bills. We have all the gambling, sports gambling, tribal gaming bills, which may take some time, and then some other ones that are just lingering. So definitely the first 3 days, but it could be all week. And then we did just get a pile of confirmations, but that'll be in first week of June, probably.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Representative Tuttle.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There will be another cookout at Senator Lucchini's house tomorrow at 1:30, so be early.
Thank you, Representative Tuttle.
Republicans never get invited to these cookouts. I don't know Senator Lucchini, but
Well, Pat, you're invited.
It keeps sounding like Representative Tuttle keeps inviting Republicans to your house for a cookout.
He's inviting the whole general public, actually. So.
So it doesn't even matter. Unenrolled Republicans, Democrats, everyone at Lucchini's
Anybody
house.
watching?
Do you have a swimming pool?
No.
Okay.
Well, we have a pool, we have a pond,
Pat.
right?
He has the ocean.
All right. Well, thank you everybody today for your work. Happy Friday. Enjoy your wonderful weekend. We will see you guys all, I believe 10 o'clock is the start on Monday. If that's incorrect, check the website, check with Karen, but she's nodding. So I think 10 o'clock is the start on Monday morning. So thank you all. Have a great weekend and we will see you then.